Oh, what you got there?
Oh, it's a beer from Milwaukee, Pabst Blue Ribbon, established in 1844. State of Wisconsin.
Go Wisconsin.
Established in 1848.
Go Badgers.
The beer is literally older than the state of Wisconsin. And you know what? I quit drinking, but after watching Twister's Revenge, I had to start again. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, hide in there. It definitely won't get crushed by the truck. Oh my God, it happened immediately.
Kelly? Kelly?
30 days sober. Then I saw Twister's Revenge.
Well, welcome to our Spotlight episode. We're doing one on a film that we watched many times years ago, but have not seen in a long time.
I think I've only seen part of this movie.
Okay, well, this is Twister's Revenge, shot here in Wisconsin
Unfortunately.
by a filmmaker named Bill Romaine. He also directed The Giant Spider Invasion. What camera is mine? Oh, the middle one. We've got 4 cameras. I don't know what I'm looking at.
You know what's weird? Is when we have less people, we have more cameras. You're right, Jay. I think Twister's Revenge is such an early B movie that we watched that got us into B movies. When we would buy the 50 movie pack from the esteemed company Mill Creek,
Yes.
a Minnesotan company.
You know it's Mill Creek because you see the stamp in the movie every now and
Yeah,
then.
they put a watermark on the film.
Yeah, so we didn't know why the watermark appeared. We speculated that a lot of the movies were probably public domain. Twister's Revenge might be in the public domain, I don't know. But yeah, every 15 minutes or so the watermark would appear, so you didn't steal it off their DVD and put it on your own DVD pack. So it was probably some guy's job out there to manually make that watermark appear every 15 minutes or so and then go away. It was somebody's job.
Yes.
You just hit a button to make it appear.
You hit the watermark button.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we haven't seen Twister's Revenge in probably about 8 years. So we decided to revisit it for a Spotlight episode, which was a terrible idea.
I disagree.
You called this a blacklight episode.
Yeah, a spotlight, you shine the light on like a stage, a performer, a singer, somebody.
Look at this amazing
Look
thing.
at this amazing thing. A black light you shine in a seedy hotel room to find all the semen stains and blood. Bodily fluids appear under a black light. So this is a black light
Philip's semen right there. It is everywhere.
episode because no one should ever see Twister's Revenge.
This is one of the most sad movies I've seen. Like this, like not embarrassing, not even really so bad it's funny, just sad.
Well, it's sort of fascinating because it's we've often talked about the worst kind of movies as far as bad movies go are comedies, failed comedies, because they're never, you can't have like a so bad it's funny comedy. It's just so like pathetic. But this one, it misses the mark so badly at trying to execute its comedy that you almost forget that it's supposed to be funny. So it kind of comes back around to just being generally bad.
Bear, get your money.
Here, take this, you bum.
Let's show them, Ma. Oh, my tire. Let's get out of here. I don't understand this. Do you, Ma?
It's the only thing that's made sense, that line.
I would take a slightly different approach to Twister's Revenge and not say it's a failed comedy, but it's a failed we had this kind of movie.
Yeah.
And that is its own special category, where you can tell a movie was made because they had this thing or things, or access to this.
We have access to a monster truck, and there's a parade going through town at the end of the month.
They have access to a lot of things.
That's true.
The monster truck, the titular monster truck, Twister.
Twister is the name of the truck.
Is the obvious thing, but they also had access to so much more. Primarily, the big one is
Comedic talent?
no.
Oh.
Kelly,
Yeah.
is north if they make a left or a right?
While you facing east or west?
Hey, if I'm on the same side of the street as the church, but left of the sign, am I facing east or west?
They had no access to comedic talent.
They had access to a world-class screenwriter. No, they had access to a guy who blew shit up.
Yes.
Kelly, look, I'm Rambo.
Ah! I'm gonna kill myself! What the hell is the matter with you? You just blew up my car, you dumb shit!
It's a step ladder of explosions. Basically, the film is just built around that.
Yeah.
Not so much the car driving over other cars, which it does every now and then. First, they put fireworks on a door, right? Then they put an M80 on the door and blow the door apart, and you're like, wow, look at that. And then they just keep wowing you, one scene after the next. When they build, there's clearly like a fake little shed house that the Twister drives over, right? He demolishes the house.
The chicken coop
The
house?
chicken coop, the girlfriend in the chicken coop house.
Yeah.
And then one of our lead bad guys, the Joe Pesci guy, his parents' house, which is like a fake house in the
middle of a cornfield or
gets
whatever.
blowed up. Oh no.
Oh my God!
God! Everyone's dead.
Then they move up to a real house.
Here we go.
Ow!
Oh yeah. Oh my God. And then a gigantic barn.
Well, we open in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin.
What's the town?
Gleason, I think. But we should, for anyone that isn't familiar with Wisconsin, we should say there's Milwaukee, there's Madison, and then there's the rest of Wisconsin, which is nothing but fields and farmhouses.
Well, technically, there's also a football stadium somewhere up north.
That's true. In the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere. There's just a football stadium, yes.
Yeah.
But the thing is, once you go past that, you keep driving up, and there's just nothing but people in trucker hats and old farmhouses. We open on a county fair where we see some monster trucks doing their thing, and we discover Twister, who is owned by a cowboy.
Come on, enough of that computer talk. You know it only gives this cowboy a headache.
And his girlfriend, his fiancée, they get married early in the movie for no real reason.
6 minutes later.
Yeah. But she has a entire computer setup in the back of a van that controls the monster truck, so the cowboy is completely talentless and doesn't have to do anything.
We basically find out our hero is cheating.
Yeah.
Nothing is ever mentioned about this, but he's basically cheating.
Yeah.
Man, that was some stunt. This sucker drove itself. Never laid a hand on the gear shift or steering wheel. You sure did one hell of a job controlling it.
What do you mean? All I did was integrate the artificial intelligence system with the internal logic unit.
That's all she did.
Enough of that.
The computer is driving the truck.
Well, is it cheating? Like, is driving monster trucks, like, do they challenge each other? How do you win at driving a
No,
monster truck?
it's a spectacle display.
There's not like a semblance, a flimsy semblance of a competition going on. I don't know anything about monster truck rallies.
I would say, I mean, we'll get some comments, I'm sure, but I would say a monster truck show is purely spectacle driven. Well, I mean, does my neck look red to you? I don't have the answers to these questions.
The people who would have the answers to these questions are the stars of this film.
My questions lie in, why did his fiance equip a monster truck with an AI?
Yeah.
That's capable of doing much more.
This is an amazing technology.
You know where it would have made sense, right? Hey, you know where it would have made sense?
Where?
Similar to a monster truck rally, a NASCAR race, where you put an AI in a NASCAR and it uses super sophisticated like brakes, gas brakes, in order to like outmaneuver and outdrive everyone else to win the races. That's where it would have made sense, where the driver's like, hey, I'm the best driver in the world, and it's just like pretending to drive, and the computer is like, accelerate to 196 miles an hour, stop, and it could win every race with perfection. And then they just reap in cash and promotions and sponsorships, and then they find out that there's an AI driving your race car, and that would have been a story.
What are you writing, a movie?
But a monster truck requires zero skill
Yeah.
to steer it to smash other cars.
Twister operates just like any other monster truck that we see in the opening of the film.
It makes no sense. They knew a guy who owned a monster truck. And we had a small town with a mayor who didn't care about the safety of the public. And which is Gleason, Wisconsin?
Gleason, Wisconsin. So yeah, we have the monster truck, and then the plot of the movie is three goofballs. They want to steal it. So then the filmmakers had to be like, okay, why would they want to steal this particular monster truck? Oh, what if the monster truck has sophisticated technology? It's worth $500,000 or whatever they say.
Boy, that's a beaut. Bet you got a few bucks tied up in that one.
About 200,000.
Whoa.
Most of it's in computer gear.
Did you hear that?
And they're the biggest boobs. This movie thinks they're the Three Stooges. They have the same personalities.
Do they? The Three Stooges have individual personalities.
There's the Curly is kind of like the big dumb one. Yeah. The aggressive mean one with all the plans.
Okay.
He is Mo, and then there's just the guy. That's Larry.
The other one.
The other one.
Yeah.
Cowboy walks into an office and just blatantly tells some guy his truck's worth $200,000, and our three wacky antagonists overhear this and
We're
just
kind of the protagonist. The film focuses on
that's
them.
the thing is it's slightly inverted. It's like that movie Baby's Day Out. Have you ever seen the film Baby's Day Out?
Except instead of a baby, we have a monster truck.
Yeah.
So they go to the carnival to steal the truck.
Well, no,
But they don't go to steal the truck. They want to steal the computer, but the computer is in a van.
Yes.
But they can't get in the van. And they don't want to smash the window to steal the computer because that would be, I guess, immoral or something.
Well, he says there's all these people around.
Yeah.
It's broad
I
daylight.
get it.
But they're doing a little shooting the rodeo, and at a real carnival.
That's another. What do we have? What do we have?
Yes.
There's a carnival in town, and then later in the month there's a parade.
They recreate them in the stands. Clearly, there's the real shot of the stands where there's thousands of people. It's the actual thing, and then they have like 20 extras in the stands on a day where nobody's around. Yeah, and there's just rednecks behind them, and grandma's laughing along at the wacky dialogue that's happening before her.
Someone's looking at the camera.
And then we see a baby smoking. See, he laughed. He's listening to their conversation. Oh, God.
All these people are just horrified.
Oh my God, is she like 12?
I thought it was a child. The child started smoking.
That baby in the back is going to pull out a cigarette.
I guess it could be a child. It's rural Wisconsin.
Mullets galore, though.
Yes.
That's the important part.
Well, it's in. There's one guy who we thought was dressed as a werewolf monster, but it turns out that was just his face and his teeth.
So they can't steal the van at the carnival. They have to wait until he goes on his honeymoon.
Well, no. First, they try and break into his garage.
That's right.
They use fireworks. They use sparklers on his door, and surprisingly, that doesn't work. So then there's a very awkward and confusing moment where they're like, we need to get something bigger. And we see the door blow off, but then we see them come out of the garage, I think, even though they were trying to blow up the door so they could get into the garage.
Yeah, Rich, you had a theory about it.
I think they blew up the door to get in, and then we cut away. And then in that time we cut away, they ran into the garage, decided it was too smoky, and then we cut back to them just in time for them to come right back out. That's the only thing that possibly makes any sense.
Too smoky temporarily because they eventually do go back into the garage.
Yes.
And then they are scared off. Big dumb guy's going to bust the window of the monster truck. Because I guess now they can just steal the chip or computer components from the monster truck itself.
Even though the computer itself isn't in the monster truck, it's in the van.
And so big dumb guy takes a wrench and is about to break the glass, but stops when they see a blue light pulsating, which scares them.
I can fix this.
Attaboy, Bear. Take out the window.
Oh, he was about to, but there was a flashing blue light.
Look at that. All right, boy, something ain't right here. Let's get out of here.
He's amazed by that.
I guess Twister fixed it.
Are there supposed to be sound effects that just aren't there?
Well, they give up. They seem to give up on stealing the computer.
Yeah.
Instead, now they're just going to kidnap the wife and hold her for $1 million ransom.
That's the second phase of their plans.
So when they want the $1 million, do they not care about the truck anymore? Why do they think he has $1 million?
But the point is, the cowboy and the lady have their wedding. A couple of bridesmaids. There's no one else there. They leave the church, and there's a wacky chase that ensues involving multiple vans that look alike. Because the cowboy takes the lady, you'd think he'd drive his monster truck, his signature vehicle.
Yeah.
But instead he
Hang some tin cans off the back of it.
Yes, yeah. That's your car. That's the car you both share together. That's your project. Yeah. He takes a nasty old minivan, and then there's 4 other minivans that look the same that pull out of this parking lot, and then we have a madcap, wacky chase. The one guy's riding around on a motorcycle, and he decides to stop and take a shit on some railroad ties.
That's the comedy, Mike. That's the joke.
Oh, was that funny?
Yeah, they gotta have jokes in their movie. I mean, you can't.
What's the joke, though?
He took a shit in a railroad track.
Joe Pesci says to dumb guy, lay down in the road, because he's like, they're following me. Like, he was the wrong van. And he's like, well, if they're following you, then lay down in the road and block their path.
I am now lying down.
So he lays down in the road and the van stops and pulls over, but it's an elderly couple with ADR done by not elderly people.
By one person doing 2 voices, probably.
Going to do an old man voice.
Come on. My, he's a big one.
He sure is.
But his old woman voice is so bad, I thought that was the old man voice. And then the old man talked, and I was like, are they both men? I was very confused.
Yeah, it was poorly done, to say the least.
Who the hell are these people?
Idiot, answer him. Who are these people?
I don't know. Who are these people? What the hell's going on around here?
Shut up, just shut up. Back against the car. Get your hands up. Get 'em up.
But their scheme, it didn't work out the way they hoped it would.
Well, they made it worse because instead of him just going, oh, hi, elderly people. It's just stretching my back.
Yeah.
I got a little nauseous driving my car. I had to pull over. Oh, okay, bye. They pull shotguns on them, and then they let the air. They stab their tires.
It makes no sense.
Stop short of murdering them. So, I mean, we've well established these aren't the brightest criminals.
No, they're not. The dumbest one, his name is Bear.
My name is Bear. I'm a Scorpio.
All he did was say his name.
Yeah, he didn't even like rope her or anything.
Me too, Mike.
It didn't warrant a beer pour on the hood.
It's Bear, Kelly, and Fat Guy, whatever his name is.
Our villain's attempt to kidnap the wife by following the van fails. And so then, now that they lost track of her van, they just go to exactly where her van is now and kidnap her.
And where is the van now? Because that's important
Well, this is
too.
their romantic honeymoon
This
location.
is the romantic honeymoon, and so they just park the van in the woods.
Apparently right near town. They didn't go too far.
That's unbelievable.
Look, it's hard to get a movie to 90 minutes.
By the way, how long is this one, Jay? That's why they're trying to extort him for $1 million. Because he had to have his honeymoon in a van in the woods. Like most millionaires do. And we've established that they have a house. One of them does, because they were making out on Grandma's bed, remember?
Well, you don't go back to your house after your wedding. You go to
a van
you go to a van in the woods.
And then they put the girl in an abandoned mine shaft next to a coffee maker and
to
dynamite.
Next to a comically ticking time bomb. Which makes absolutely no sense.
They were desperately trying to keep the cowboy away from finding her, away from the mine shaft. They never once asked him for money. In fact, they tried to murder him with shotguns many times, which also would deflate their whole plan.
Yeah.
You want the guy who's going to give you $1 million to not be dead, so you don't try to kill him with a tank.
So around this point is when we discover that, the Twister, the monster truck, is sentient and can talk.
Go to the bar, tell the friends of these perpetrators what has occurred, and solicit their warmth and support.
Artificial intelligence, my ass. Listen, lame brain breath. If I walk in there,
He did it wrong.
Lame brain breath?
Lame brain breath.
He helps the cowboy out of numerous sticky situations. The cowboy, after they kidnap the wife, the cowboy finds a matchbook that has the name of a bar on it. And he assumes that one of the crooks dropped the matchbook, which is a safe assumption.
Sure.
Could have just been in the woods. And they could have found that matchbook in an old coat from 10 years ago. But he ties it right to the bar. They must have been at that bar, and whoever is in that bar, for no reason at all, knows their plan.
Yeah.
So he goes to the Spiker bar and he goes up to a guy wearing a Nazi helmet and says, I'm looking for information.
excuse me. I need some information.
I need some information.
You hear that? This guy needs some information.
So that's when they throw him through the cardboard door.
Gets thrown through a cardboard door. Twister comes to his aid by driving over everyone's cars. Oh my God! That woman didn't know her underwear was showing, and the camera just zoomed in on her crotch.
We take a little break from the story, from the complicated plot of the film, to just have a musical interlude.
Burlesque / drag / jazzercise
Well,
show?
it's not drag. I think that might be in your head because I said that the singer looked like Divine.
Look, all of these characters, they're hooks for the Twister's Revenge cinematic universe.
Oh, okay.
like the presence of aliens.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just give you a little taste of it. A little hint.
So you get to see the Bat Boy movie later that year.
And the Wolfman. The
Bat Boy, a Twister story.
Twister Tale.
A Twister Tale. Okay, yeah, so Cowboy goes to the bar to try and get information about where these goons are. He takes the guy with the Nazi helmet outside, and we discover his only weakness is his helmet.
Move and I blow his head off.
Go ahead, I owe money anyway.
This doesn't scare you?
No.
How about this?
That's why he was wearing the helmet.
One. I don't know. Two.
That's why we beat the Germans, Rich. Just a light tap on their helmets.
Makes me embarrassed to be in Wisconsin.
This makes me embarrassed to be a human. The production of it, while bad, isn't like the worst I've ever seen.
Sure.
It's terrible. The sound effects, the sound mixing is god-awful. The ADR is awful. But like the general construction of the movie isn't the worst. It's just they did not know how to write their story out.
Yeah.
And make all those things count for something. Destroying a giant barn, destroying an actual house. They drive a tank through a house.
The concept of a science fiction monster truck that just crushes shit is something that could have done well in the 80s, if handled right. Yeah. Whenever there's a building in the middle of a field, you know what's going to happen.
Something's going to happen to it.
Are these all in the same field? Probably, right? Yeah. It's the director's parents' property.
This is the advantage of living in a podunk town in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So you blow shit up.
Yeah.
You can drive a tank down the street. They fire the cannon off, and at some poor guy, he's like, ah, and he flies. And then, yeah, they ride over a car on a street, and, probably damage the street, I would imagine, in some
Gleason
fashion.
was just happy to have a movie being shot there.
It's going to put Gleason on the map.
Yeah, a real movie. Well, the director, Bill Romaine, as we mentioned, he did the giant spider invasion. I looked it up. This was one of the top grossing movies of 1970 whenever it came out.
Really?
Yeah, shot in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin. So he maybe had a little bit of clout at that point.
Huh.
Twister's Revenge is after he did another movie called Blood Harvest, and it's shocking that that was like right before Twister's Revenge. But Blood Harvest is incredibly competent and fairly well done. So it's bizarre that Twister's Revenge is as bad as it is.
Maybe he was just like fucking around and having fun. Maybe it was never done seriously.
Yeah.
It was just...
Or maybe there's two Bill Romaines.
that both lived in middle of nowhere, Wisconsin.
That's a more logical solution.
They're brothers. They're both just named Bill.
Like that Eddie Murphy movie, The Distinguished Gentleman. You ever see that?
I remember it. Was that the plot?
There's a senator that has his same name, and that senator dies.
Okay.
And so then he runs for office and he gets in just because people recognize that name.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying maybe Bill Romaine, who made the giant spider invasion. What?
Romaine,
whatever.
Bill Romaine.
What? Maybe Bill
Let
Romaine.
us do another take.
Maybe Bill Romaine, who made these oh God, fuck it. Just fuck it. I give up.
It's for the best. Well, I think we need to talk about the big scene, which is the junkyard scene.
Oh boy, we got him now.
Can you legally own a tank that it can move?
I don't know.
Probably not.
Why do they end up in the junkyard? I'll tell you why. Because our three criminals lay a trap.
Well, no, they do lay a trap. They mention the junkyard, but then they don't go to the junkyard and the scene ends.
Here was the plan. Here was the plan, Jay.
Oh, okay.
Joe Bob, Fatso, you lead him into the junkyard. There's only one entrance and one exit.
Yeah.
They blocked the exit. He's in there. They got him trapped.
Hey, you big heap of junk. Here I am. Hey, Kelly, here he is. Come on, baby, baby, baby.
Joe Bob, you lead him into the junkyard. And Bear, if he doesn't go that way, you shoot a bazooka at him and blow him up.
Okay, remember now, if he doesn't follow Dutch and go right into the trap like we planned, you nail him.
Then we'll definitely get the money from him.
Yes. So then he starts driving the monster truck through a cornfield, and Bear just continually shoots a bazooka at him for no reason. 10 scenes later, the monster truck drives into the junkyard unprompted.
Well, we don't see it drive into it. We just cut to it in the junkyard.
Right.
shit.
They just cut from a scene of Cowboy talking to the monster truck. And it's just hard cuts to the middle of action in the junkyard. Why did that happen, Rich?
I don't know. I really don't know. It's the kind of thing you think somebody would have noticed.
But Joe Pesci then says, yeah, why don't you go, hey, Bear, go get Kowalski's secret weapon or something like that. The big prize or something.
We need the big one.
What big one?
The boss's big toy.
Oh, that big one.
Yeah, go get it. Go on.
And that turns out to be a real tank.
Yeah, impressive.
And at first, we thought we were done with the tank because the tank drives over a couple cars and then Twister leaves. And we're like, that's all they did with the tank? But oh no.
Why did they drive it through the parade?
Because they could. It might have been real dynamite you were laughing at, that fake prop, Rich.
Oh, God, that's disturbing.
Because they blew up the mine shaft at the end of the movie, remember?
Yeah. They just had it next to that poor actress. She had no idea.
That's a very disturbing thought because it's so plausible.
Why take all that time to make a fake prop when you could just pile up a bunch of dynamite?
All right, we're gonna put all this dynamite next to you for the scene, and then get that light on the dynamite, that bright spotlight. Put it right.
The director smoking.
It's not the director. It was a kid from the background. The
baby.
The baby was smoking. The baby knew it was the director's baby. She was smoking on the set. She was next to the dynamite.
No, little baby, don't flick the cigarette that way. I mean, they did a lot of impressive things in this movie, but it didn't help at all the overall movie. That tank could have knocked down the fucking Sears Tower, and I wouldn't have cared. Like, for real, you know what I mean?
I feel you.
You know? Like, the most amazing thing could have happened destruction-wise that they could have done in that small town. They could have rolled over City Hall and 10 houses and blew up the whole town. Every person. Set every person on fire in the whole audience, for real. And I would have been
all those Donald Ducks on the parade float.
All of them just blowing up and flying through the air. The guy put dynamite in everything, everywhere. It just blew the whole town up. The tank just crushed everything. Wiped Pleasantville, Wisconsin off the map or whatever it was called. And I just would have went, eh.
You know, there's an opportunity there to fill a mascot outfit just full of explosives for a movie.
Rich, don't give ISIS any ideas.
Well, the movie just kind of ends, I guess, right?
Yeah.
The mine blows up.
Well, Cowboy and wife have some dialogue back and forth, like, what's our next wacky adventure? You know, like, you and me and Twister. They say something.
Did they?
Yeah, they were standing next to the truck, like, oh, Twister.
All swell and swell.
Oh, Twister.
What are we gonna do with you?
I have no recollection of this.
I don't either.
Something happened.
I thought the movie just ended.
I couldn't hear what they were saying.
I remember the only thing I remember about the ending is Bear and Meat Plant Guy just decided they were going to violently murder Mo all of a sudden.
I don't understand it. This plan should have worked.
But it didn't. And now we're gonna have to take care of you, Kelly.
What? What?
They're gonna murder him?
Yeah.
With like blunt weapons.
Yeah.
Like it got very dark.
It suddenly dawned on him that I don't think this plan is going to work after 90 minutes of failing at every opportunity.
Yeah, it would be nice to see a Blu-ray version of Twister's Revenge.
Yeah.
Why?
You got to see all those pixels for when those houses fall over.
It's a spectacle. It didn't. I wasn't bored. As boring as it is, I wasn't bored.
Yeah, there's always stuff happening in Twister's Revenge, which is what makes it fun.
Yeah, and it's bafflingly bad,
Yeah.
plot-wise, and that kind of like it's one of those movies where you're not laughing, you don't know what's going on really. You're just laughing because you're so confused. And that's fun too. That's a different kind of B-movie.
Yeah. It had one joke that genuinely made me laugh, I think just because it was so stupid, which is when, it might have been the Joe Pesci guy. He's at his parents' house, and we get a cameo by Vicki Lawrence as Mama. But then he's like, he says something about, I'm 30, and then his dad's like, I'm 29.
Sit down. You haven't been excused yet.
I'm 30 years old.
So I'm 29.
And now you're going to have some of my blueberry pie. Right.
You know, it's the greatest accomplishment of any bad comedy ever.
That's true, yeah.
To get a genuine laugh out of somebody is beyond the wildest dreams of the normal B-movie comedy.
So, check out Twister's Revenge.
I'm sure it's on YouTube.
Turn on that black light in a seedy motel room and you'll find it.